You know, if this is hell, then do we need paradise? Hola! You know, if Marilyn Manson taught me anything, it's that you always want to combine the beautiful and the grotesque. Also, this video is kind of all over the place. I just wanted to share some thoughts I had about this manga because I recently finished it. Today's manga is JIGOKURAku by Kakuyuji. It started serializing in 2018 and came to an end earlier this year. So congratulations on finishing it. Kaku was also an assistant to Fujimoto Tatsuki, who did Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man, so that really tells you all you need to know. So what is this manga about? Jigokuraku, or Hell's Paradise in English, is set in the Edo period and it has, surprise surprise, a simple premise. There's this mysterious island that is rumored to have some sort of medicine that's supposed to make you immortal and prevent you from aging. And this island is also believed to be paradise. I believe the island is actually Kyushu, but I'm not sure. And by the way, I'm sorry if I word some things in a weird way. I don't know how to call certain things because I didn't read the English version, so I hope you still understand what I'm saying. Anyways, the Bakufu obviously wants to get their hands on this medicine, so they send out boats and expeditions to explore the island and get this medicine. But each time the boats return and they're filled to the brim with flowers and the corpses of the people who went there. So it became clear to everyone pretty early that this island is very dangerous. So who better to send there than people who are already sentenced to death? So the Bakufu will now send people who are sentenced to death because they committed horrendous crimes to this island, and in exchange they will be pardoned. That's the whole premise. It's a very character-driven story, so I'd like to talk about them and not get into details of what the story is about and Tao and you know whatnot. So let's start with the first main character, Gabimaru. He's a ninja and has trained all his life to become an extremely powerful shinobi. It's just what everybody does in his village, you know. And so now he's OP and can't be killed. But not only that, all this killing and assassinating he committed over the course of his life just left him feeling empty. That is, until he met his wife. She really softened up Gabimaru, which made him want to quit his old ways. The village, however, is unforgiving and you're not allowed to just quit and leave. So instead of running away and all that, Gabimaru decided it would probably be best to just be executed. So they tried to execute him, but as I mentioned before, he can't really be killed. And they really try everything. And that gets a little graphic, by the way, so if you haven't read it yet, just know that that's in there. So yeah, nothing works until Sagiri, a famous executioner, steps in. Gabimaru is already fed up with this world.
I'm fed up with this world.
So he's fed up with his life and he can't wait to die anyways. But when Sagirin actually comes close to killing him, he changes his mind and realizes that he actually really wants to live and just return to his wife. So she sees this and suggests why not join this expedition so he can be pardoned. So sounds like a good deal to Gabimaru, and the two of them join the expedition. So, I have mixed feelings about Gabimaru somehow. Like, he's supposed to be this empty shell of a person, but I personally couldn't believe it for a second. I don't know if it was intended by the author that way or not, but he almost seemed a little goofy from the beginning, you know? And also he's kind of cute, like he looks kind of cute, so it's really hard to feel intimidated by this guy. And then he risks everything to see his wife again, so that pretty much tells us that he's actually a very passionate person and a person that isn't empty whatsoever. He's fine as a protagonist, but in my opinion not as charismatic as other protagonists I've seen. The fact that he does all of this for his wife, however, makes you really want to root for him. He's had the struggles with his emotions and feeling weakened by love. So actually choosing this love and experiencing this weakness instead of simply, you know, retreating to the familiar cold and emptiness is a very admirable and strong move in my opinion. I'm sure many people can relate to that. Sagirin is also a decent character. She has her own struggles, you know, being an executioner and all. She develops sympathy for Gabimaru and later becomes very protective of him. At first because she feels responsible for him, and later she gets attached to him on a personal level. And now a minor spoiler, I don't know if you... No, actually I pretty much spoil the ending, so if you don't want to listen to it, I'll put timestamps down below. I honestly thought that she and Gabimaru would end up together somehow. But you know, I'm really glad that they didn't. You know, I thought that maybe Gabimaru's wife wasn't even real and that he was just imagining everything, you know, out of despair. But no, she does exist and he does not betray her. Gabimaru and Sagirin have this respect for each other. And I think it's kind of rare to see the power of friendship and love portrayed in a shonen like that. Like in this kind of shonen, it's a little rare. The supporting cast is also really good. I like every single one of them. They all have distinct personalities. Sure, a trope here and there, but I don't mind. I love the story of the two brothers. You know, I have a sister, so sibling shit always gets me emotional. And Yuzuriha is probably my favorite female character of the manga. I like people who seem easygoing but are badass and know it. All of the Yamada Asaemon people are also fantastic. The blind Shion who always makes jokes like I see. Shugen who seems earnest and in control but cries all the time. As well as that guy who's just a drunk whore. It's just good stuff. One thing that irritated me though was this guy who had this huge crush on Gabimaru. I liked this character, but what is it about this trope of a guy liking another guy, but at the same time wanting to kill him? What's going on? Can somebody explain this shit to me, please? Like, is that new? Like, I know the cringy BL tropes, but like in a shonen, like when something like this happens, is that a thing that happens in shonen? Please, somebody explain this to me, because I'm losing my mind. Moving on, the dialogues can be really funny sometimes, but aside from the amazing action and fun, it also gets really emotional. The characters are so likable, you just want all of them to live forever. And I rooted for every single one of them. Even if they were on opposing sides, I don't know. Generally, I like stories where people overcome their differences and work together. I mean, a common enemy sure helps, I guess. But here, it's not just a matter of having a few different opinions, you know. They're literally executioners and criminals. It's literally about life and death. So seeing how they choose each other and therefore life, it's just really reaffirming my belief that it's always better to work together instead of against each other. And I don't know if someone else, I mean probably, right? But I don't know who else thought about this, but sometimes some elements kind of reminded me of Kimetsu no Yaiba. Like for example, the religious symbolism and the force Tao and it being linked to the elements. You know what I'm saying? And also the ending was a little rushed in my opinion. I don't know if you guys felt the same, but to me it felt very, not super sudden, but rushed, you know? And it was the same in Kimetsu no Yaiba. It wasn't as huge as I expected it to be, you know? And also in Kimetsu no Yaiba, at the end, you see like them in the future or like their reincarnations or whatever. And they did the same in JIGOKURAku. And that's also kind of similar. But I really like the reference at the end where they have online classes in JIGOKURAku at the end. So I guess COVID made it into manga now. Anyways, I have to admit that the villains were pretty cool, but not that interesting to me. Like, everything about the powers and such, it's not the most interesting thing to me about this manga. I mean, the way they research Tao and stuff like that was pretty interesting, and that, you know, the whole gender bending thing, that was pretty cool, but I personally didn't care too much about all of this stuff. As I said, the characters are what really made me enjoy this manga. So the plot could have probably been anything. The art alone is worth reading it. And speaking of which, I don't have much to say about the art because it's flawless. Seriously, the character design is just so good. I love it. Whatever he draws next, I'll read it. If the shittiest story a brain has ever conceived is illustrated like this, I'll read it. Whole world and backgrounds are just amazing as well. You have these amazing action scenes and lots of gore mixed with immense beauty. The flowers growing out of corpses is just great. I can't wait for the anime. I hope the intro song will be metal. I think it kind of fits. Like if I think about an opening, a potential opening, I'd like to see Gabimaru in fire, and then you have the flowers and stuff like that. And then some cool metal song mixed with some traditional elements, maybe like traditional instruments, shamisen maybe, and then some metal. That would be pretty dope, I think. So I'm sorry this video was kind of rambly. I was planning something different, but I don't know, I just couldn't stop myself from saying at least a few words about this manga. I just like it too much for me not to talk about it. So tell me what you think about it. I'm sure most people love this manga. I don't know if I ever read a negative review or something like that, or heard a negative opinion about this that made sense, you know. So please tell me what you think about it. And next time I'll be talking about more unknown manga again. So, you know, from time to time I need to talk about the big stuff as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.